Welcome back to the wood shop, folks. And if you're as big a fan as woodworking tools and saving money as I am, this is definitely the video for you. Stick around. So the good folks over at Banggood have sent me this big stack of tools here to show to you guys. Also to tell you about their summer sale they got coming up, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. Now be sure to stick around all the way to the end because the big boy on the bottom I'm pretty excited about. So with that said, let's jump right into it. Okay, so let's see what the first tool we got is. Okay, so a good set of hold down clamps for any T-tracks you got and that sort of thing. I can tell you immediately, these things are pretty beefy. That's a good half-inch thick on the thickest part there. Got good rubber hold downs. So as you can see, everything that's included here, we've got the hold down clamp itself, little knobs for tightening everything. Got the T-track bolts here. This one is pretty interesting. It actually comes with some adapters that actually will fit in your, most common size miter slots too. So if you've got a setup for that, that'd work good. So it's very easy to use if you've never used one of these before. You've got the T-track bolt. Of course, this is my drill press. I've got T-track right there. Hard to do one-handed, but let me get it started. And once you get that thing tightened down there, it's good and secure. You can go ahead and make your cuts, and I've got this one set up for mortising, but that's beside the point. That is a good, strong hold-down clamp. Okay, let's see what the next tool is. We've got a nice corner square here, nicely machined, very clear measurements. Also, it has these small holes, and I'm not sure if you can pick that up on the camera. Now, a regular number 2 pencil, I found those don't work very good, but if you've got a mechanical pencil, those work great. So not only does this have a 45-degree marker that's already made here, if we go ahead and make a 90 here, and we bring this down, you can notice these marks on it here. We can set that at 90, move those around, and there we've got a 60-degree, several different markings that get on here, 30, 45, that kind of stuff. Just a handy little device right here, especially with all these different measurements. And it's kind of hard to tell. Each one of those little holes is slightly off from the other. That way you can fine tune that mark. And also on top of that, you've got the color, very nice color, anodized. Kind of looks familiar to a lot of the name brand ones you see, but at a fraction of the price. It's also great, with this larger piece right here, you can mark a 90 on one side. If you were to happen to be doing the 45 on the other, and you need to get right on that piece, right on your mark, you've got a perfect mark all the way around. Okay, guys, let's see what's next. Okay. Here we've also got a dowel maker. This time it's got a lot more options. Wow, and that looks extremely easy to be able to use. Okay, so we've got our cutter head inside of here, the tool itself, and you can see how that tends to work. You take one bolt out, the other one will twist around to whatever size you need. Now that is in metric for me. Unfortunately, I don't use that one a lot, but even still, it doesn't take perfect measurement for your drill bit to be able to fit whatever dowel you're using. So let's go ahead and take this thing out. I think it's going to be easier to do it that way. Comes out easy. There's your cutter. If you've done wood turning and you're using carbide tools, it's the same cutter. You'll notice there's some numbers on there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Basically letting you know there's 4 sides. So if one side gets dull, you can actually just turn it to the next side. Get it lined up. You're ready to reinstall it back in the main body. And I'm going to start off with just a small one. As you can see, I just kind of screwed it down to a piece of a 2x4 here. I've got it set. This is already a dowel I've got. We're going to make it just a little bit smaller and show you how this thing works. So this thing done exactly what it's supposed to. It turned us a round dowel, ready to install on whatever project you've got coming up. So for the next tool, I could have took a peek at this one, and it is a really nice design. These, I have seen these in name brands going for as much as over $100 just for one of these, and this is a 3-piece set for a fraction of that. I know what a lot of you guys said. Well, if it's name brand, you know those guys have done some R&D for it. That is true. But if you're like me and on a budget, there is no way I can go and pay over $100 for one little ruler. So I'd either have to buy this or do without, and this is a great option for that. So as you can tell, this is an adjustable aluminum ruler. Got a nice color onto it. It's also got standard and metric measurements. Easy enough to move. Just move the 2 knobs here, loosen those up, slide it whatever measurement you need, lock it down, and you're ready to mark your workpiece. So another cool feature with these is if you actually take these knobs and then loosen them up, take this thing off. You want to put the knob side in this hole first, get it lined up like this. It'll actually stay 90 degrees with the help of this, and if you needed to get down and look at it and mark, you can do that very easily. And finally, on to the one I've been most excited about seeing. Now, I will say don't pay attention to the spelling on here because it is not correct. But either way, let's jump right into this thing and see how this thing looks. Okay, you can see how it comes packaged. Nice little stop block. Some of the hardware, set screws and that sort of thing. Wow, very nice machined push knob for the miter gauge. And the miter gauge fence. One thing I thought was pretty cool, it's extendable. That is going to be worth its weight in gold. Okay, the good thing with this extendable part, it is interchangeable, so you can put it on one side or the other, and so I'm going to do that just because most of the time with the way I'm working on the table saw, I'm usually working to the left of the blade, so I'm going to set that up to where it extends out more to the left. So I wanted to show you up close some of the features of this thing. There is the push block, or the push handle, I should say, for this. It's a really nice made unit. You can see by the top here, miter settings, that kind of thing. Here's actually how you move it from the stops. You actually loosen that, pull this back, and you actually can twist so that it don't reset itself, and then you can move it from there to whatever setting you want it to be. And then you can kind of tell in here all the little positive stops. Now, just say we're going to 0 degrees or 90, whatever you'd want to call that. You can go ahead and set this back. Notice how it's not seating in all the way. And I'm sure you heard that little click. Once you get there, it actually snaps in. So let's do a cut here and see how good we are as far as 90 degrees goes. So we got through that cut. I did joint one edge just to make sure we got a flat reference. So let's see how good this thing done at 90 degrees. As you can see, there's no light there. That thing is perfect, which is a good thing because there are no instructions with that thing. I don't know how to adjust it if it weren't perfect. Maybe if you guys has had any experience with this, leave me a comment so I can kind of do some research into that and adjust it if need be. So let's try one at 45 degrees while we're here. So checking it just a couple different ways just to make sure we're accurate. Got a framing square here. I'll lay this next to the edge, bump it out till it meets the edge right there. And that is perfect. Nothing out of the way. And then we'll take our combination square. This one I don't see it as accurate because you don't have very much of a lip here, but either way, you can tell that thing is fitting perfectly in there. That's it, guys. We've opened all these tools, and I am thankful to Banggood for sending these to me for you guys to check out. But as always, we do a positive and a negative to all these tools. So let's start with the first one. Now on this first tool we opened, which was the hold down block here, or the hold down clamp. Super strong, easy to use. Only negative to this one, the little knobs. They do not appear to be threaded correctly for this stud. And I checked that with another knob I've got in stock. It worked perfect, so I know there's nothing wrong with the threads. I think maybe possibly they just put a incorrect insert into this knob. No problem there. I've got plenty of knobs. Just a heads up on that one, but otherwise a great tool. Now on to the second one. It's what they call the saddle square. I just call it a corner post square. This thing is built good. It looks good. I like the colors of it. The little holes in here for your mechanical pencil are great. Give you a almost infinite amount of precision there. The only negative to this one is the height. And that's basically because most of the times you're not working with a workpiece that's this tall. So you're either going to have to take your workpiece and put it up on another one, or have something similar to like a 4x4 or something like that. Because on this 2x4 here, you can see I've got probably an inch of overhang. Now on to the rulers. I can't think of anything negative to say about these. You know, they look good. They're accurate. I've checked it against, ones I trust. They're thick and sturdy. So I can't think of a thing in the world to say negative about these. I would give these 2 thumbs up. And on to the dowel maker. There are 8 different sizes in this thing, so I think you're going to be able to, make any size dowel you'd ever need. As far as this one goes, the only thing I could see negative is just the fact that it's not in standard units here, just because I'm used to that. But either way, the size it's going to make, I'm sure you're going to find a drill bit that's going to allow you to make that dowel, knock it into your workpiece, no problem. Finally, on to the miter gauge. Now, to be honest with you, I've wanted one of these for a long time. Just kind of been out of my budget. And when the guys over at Banggood offered to send me these things, I was gladly going to try this one out. So let's start with the positives. It's accurate as I showed you. It is very strong. It fits the miter slot great, no slop there. It's got the extendable fence here that's going to give you a lot of stability for any work pieces you're going to have. It's got the stop block here with two different levers that raise up and down, so you can set that to whatever you need. Now, as far as any negatives on this one, I guess I could come up with a couple. And one of them may be my inexperience, but there is a ruler on top, and I'll show you an image of that. And it goes from 0 to about 16 inches here. And when you extend it, it also has measurements here. Here's where the other negative comes in. Unless I'm looking at this wrong, it's almost as if the numbers are backwards, because you go 1 through 16, and then this goes from 30 down to 16 here. So it's kind of confusing. Maybe they've printed it upside down. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm supposed to look at it a different way. I'm not sure about that either. Maybe one of you guys knows. So when it comes to the extendable part here, it can be moved from left to right. However, it can't be flipped around. And that's what I think throws the measurements off for that. Either way, the measurements aren't a big deal to me, because my marks are going to really, be what I actually set the fence to and the board to and that kind of stuff. And as I said, this thing is dead on accurate for as far as I can tell. But if it were not the case, I'm not sure how you would adjust this. As you can see at the bottom, there are pieces along here that would adjust possibly that piece that bolts to your fence, but it is preset, so there's not very much alignment. Also here, there's a couple little screws, but I don't see that being able to adjust it. Possibly the only thing I could see that might is this one, but as of right now, I'm not going to mess with it, because like I said, it is dead on accurate. I'm going to leave it where it's at. So a great tool in my opinion, even though there are a few negatives. And the other negative of this one is, like I said, there's just no instructions with it. Unfortunately, that's kind of what you get on some of these tools when they're coming across seas. But either way, I feel like they're good tools, especially for the money you're paying. Quite a savings versus, the big name brands. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. I want to give a big thanks to the guys over at Banggood for sending me all these tools. I know they're going to get a lot of use in my shop every day that I'm in the shop. I do want to address a couple things too. I've had guys that would actually say that I shouldn't promote any of these tools just because they're not made in the USA. But my rebuttal to that is, even a lot of the big name brands are not made in the USA, because they can get the production made cheaper and that kind of thing. So the way I would look at it is, if you're getting a good quality tool at a good price, you can't go wrong. And I truly do feel like these are good quality tools, regardless of the fact that they sent them to me. Even if they hadn't, these are ones I would very much consider going out and buying myself. So anyway, I appreciate you watching, sticking around to the end of the video. If you would, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you hadn't. We'll see you on the next video.